People learn patterns and then they're forcing everybody into these patterns. Oh, that's a damp heat. Oh, that's a this pattern. That's a Lin pattern. Or that's a something pattern. But the truth is that that's the person, right? And if you treat according to the pattern, rarely do they get better because there's a person who has lots of other things going on. So the key is to figure out why these things are happening. And is it as simple as external, bad food, bad taco, caught a cold? Or is it constitutionally they are, and therefore likely to blah, 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 right? Um, and once you start recognizing, you can really recognize how many people fit a pattern. Oh, like she's blood shoot and therefore has led to Asher's, and therefore every time she exercises, she hurts something because there's cold and the muscles are tight and then they're not nourished. So when she exercises, they get pulled and they're cold, so they rip and they don't heal because they're not being fed, right? So then we start seeing that enough that we're like, oh, that's a blood shoe person. So we have to tonify the blood. But if I tonify the blood, she's not going to get better, right? So you still have to see the person. So you want to get rid of patterns, see the human, what led to the issue they have, who they are, right? And then see that that fits so many people that I can rely on Tu Si Yin Yang Hua or Gan Jiang Hong Hua Guizhi or a something to do that. And then I say, hey, these are these people. But now I'm trying to say lei, 就这个方向, right? That direction is useful, but not, I can't say that's a like cold blood something because that's so narrow. And, we're discovering it's the same thing with herbs, that this whole thing of categories and functions is terrible, right? It's the reason why people are not good at herbs is primarily because they're not seeing herbs used well. Number one, right? It's just not common, okay? And then secondarily, they're learning all these single actions, and the whole thing is ass backwards, right? You learn flavor nature, you know why. But once you know flavor nature, it's really helpful to have categories. It helps you go look in a direction and then you figure out which flavor nature because you know why it's treating a headache or why it's in the drain damp section because it's flavor nature and what that will do to the chi. But if you just go to flavor nature, go to the drain damp and you don't understand that, you may or may not pick the right herb, or you may pick the right direction but not strong or too strong, or you may be too drying or too this or too that because you didn't grasp what's happening deep underneath. Therefore, what flavor nature makes the most sense, right? I mean, people have a hard time understanding at first that guizhi rong, right? That rong means to like nourish, fill. It's like plump. It's really a great way to translate that rong, right? And it's like, what? Guizhi's warm accurate. That's going to dry. How does that do that? So with that in mind, it's going to rong when something is cold, dead, and you warm it and you enliven it. Like we were making baozi on Sunday, it was too cold for the flour to rise, right? You give that guizhi, i.e. a warm temperature, and the flour is going to go lump, it's going to rong, right? It's going to feel good. You get in the sun, you're like, oh, hot yoga, rong, until it goes too far and dries. But it doesn't dry, all right? Guizhi doesn't dry. It stimulates and warms more flow. Something that's cold will gain life. Something that already has life will be dried out. But it doesn't dry, right? It's understanding that reality. And that, once we can get to seeing things that clearly, it's really simple. We're just discovering that it's hard to get people to back up clearly.